So today I am in search of the Venango Trail. The Venango Trail is a new trail for Allegheny Land Trust, which owns a lot of different properties that they seek to preserve in Allegheny County. This is northern Marshall Township, just off of Freeport Road. You have a new housing development over there. I think it's called Venango Trails. And there's sort of this barrier right here. So you can access this trail either through Venango Trails community, or you can come over into this older community, which is off a place called Ridge Road, which can be accessed from the south of Freeport Road. What's not provided is any sort of parking, and you're kind of left on your own to figure out where to park. So hopefully it seems pretty slow and quiet. I'm going to probably park somewhere where it looks like some construction vehicles might already be parked and just sort of proceed. I don't think the trail is going to be very long. It sort of loops around in here and I think connects over on the other side of the new Venango Trails neighborhood. This place was definitely as hard to find as Irwin Run. These little places are kind of like these hidden gems, but they can be tricky to find. Okay, so Allegheny Land Trust makes no promises about the 88-acre Venango Trail property, which has a trail, but as you can see, I had to park in nearby Cranberry Township, which is actually in Butler County, and this place is in Marshall Township in Allegheny County. So prepare to hike and potentially hike even more trying to get to the trail than you actually do on the trail itself. Hopefully this place is a good place to go. I just feel kind of sad because honestly, this Venango Trail Land Trust area is basically looks like it's going to be a private trail for the residents of the older neighborhood off of Ridge Road and the new Venango Trails community. I hope that there will be some effort to allow public access to the area, and that this is not just a nice area for people with nice money and nice houses to hike in. But I'll turn this off until I get closer to the trail. I'm coming up on Freeport Road here. I think this is Dudela Road or something. Route 19, Perry Highway's over there. The Turnpike is not far from here, and I-79, basically a big jungle of major highways kind of come together around here. Let's see if you see right there. There's the Cranberry Township sign, so I'm now in Marshall Township. I'll have to turn on the Freeport Road, which makes not much sense. It doesn't go anywhere near Freeport. There is a Freeport Road that goes to Freeport, but it's quite a ways east and probably a little south. Unless I'm missing something, and maybe I should have went on the other side. As you can see, the attempt to walk to the Land Trust area, Venango Trails, is a little arduous here. There's no walkways or anything along this relatively high east road here, Freeport Road. And then you feel like you're kind of sneaking into someone's neighborhood. It just doesn't feel right. It's like, keep this access open, people, please. Not crossing over the highway. Presume this is I-79 probably. That's looking north toward Route 228. This is the neighborhood, the first neighborhood where you conceivably, if you go way to the back and go down Chilliwack to where it ends, get access to the trail. It's kind of a long way, and you have to drive through what seems like a mile or a mile and a half of this neighborhood. The better way is about half a mile down the road here. And there's literally no place to park anywhere around. There's a few public areas like a church or something, but it says things like, absolutely no trespassing. You can see they love their no trespassing signs here. Cameras in use. Just every kind of inconceivable blockade that there could be. As you can tell, I'm not a fan of gating everything off. I prefer access to areas of natural preservation areas. I don't know, the forest, the woods, whatever is left. I'm not someone that'll probably ever have enough money to afford any of these places. So here you get a nicer view sort of the land. It's kind of flat flattened out sort of rolling hills here. Neighborhood going up over there. Most of the houses have been built. People are living in there, but there's still a lot of things that are under construction too. So about 3/4 of a mile to go. Today is December 24th, 2018, so Christmas Eve of 2018. Got out of work a little early today, and it's not quite time to go to church. Alright, so this neighborhood has a street called Tribal Lane, and as you can see, kind of typical of the new housing developments here, kind of north of Pittburgh, northern Allegheny and Butler County in Pennsylvania. They've chopped down all the trees in favor of planting a few new saplings, some small Christmas trees. They're only about 6 feet tall. When you see this other neighborhood, the older neighborhood I'm going to go into, you'll see how different it was. The way that things were built, say, prior to about 1990, was the neighborhoods didn't all go up like real fast. They took some time to develop. It might take 3, 4, 5 years to fill a neighborhood. The houses were a little more architecturally diverse, and they always left in some of the old mature trees, which will give this other place a lot more character. So, a strange hike. I didn't exactly plan on giving sort of a dissertation on the way the housing market has evolved here, but it is what it is. I imagine I probably won't come back to this place, or really won't want to bother in a few years, because at least you can kind of, well, maybe he's a construction person here, can kind of be creeping in there unnoticed, but still no sidewalk. People laying on their horns like they got all kind of right to be here and you don't. So I perfectly well could drive my car by here. I just did, but I'm on a hike in the little woodlot that has been preserved. Hopefully keep from too many of these places going up. Everyone's got to have a place, but God, there's a way to do it, and this is not it. Treesdale was done the same way. Got the Family Retreat Center on the left. Don't even think about parking there. It is gated off. Look back in here. I expected even these little ravines and stuff will probably be gone in a few years. Okay, the last of the many little ravines, accompanied by nowhere safe to walk, and I will turn into this place, Ridge Road. So, residential traffic only, no construction vehicles allowed. So basically this place is telling you, get the heck out. And that's why I'm walking in here, and if I don't make it, I'll be sure to tell you why. Alright, so here's one of the older houses. Try not to film too much to be respectful of reasonable privacy. You got some houses back there. Look at the trees, though. These are not trees that have been here for 5 or 10 years. I mean, these are trees that were probably here before these houses were built. These are mature trees. It's a different feel. It adds a lot of character. Except for the fact that as you get toward the end of this neighborhood, you can look into the treeless desert of Venango Trails. So another look here. Over in the end of the road, you can actually see into the other neighborhood, Venango Trails. You'll see in a minute why the sign for the Venango Trail is a little bit confusing. I think it actually says Venango Trails, but it's actually the access to the Venango Trail, and the neighborhood that's called Venango Trails is over there. So historically, the Venango Trail was a path used by Native Americans and perhaps even George Washington in the 1700s, maybe the 1800s and before, that approximates the location of today's Interstate 79. Whoa, Route 19. Anyway. Okay, there's the sign. But then look at this. This appears to be what the Allegheny Land Trust would consider to be the Venango Trail. I mean, if I'm wrong, but you got a trail going down here in the woods at the approximate location where they indicate it should be. A sign here that looks like an official Commonwealth of Pennsylvania type sign, like you would see for the game lands or something. Closed to all motorized vehicles. Okay, it's okay to hike here. It's not private property, although right up there in some of those trees there's some faded no trespassing signs. So it's very unclear as to whether or not the public is welcome here or not. I'm glad nobody's giving me any kind of hell, but I can tell you right now it's about 3:36. I'm thinking it was 45 minutes ago when I actually found where this place was after about another 30 minutes of driving. And then maybe 30 minutes ago where I parked in Cranberry Township in Butler County, to the time I actually walked down Doodler Road to Freeport Road to Ridge Road to here. So some people have been using the trail, but let's get back to what I was telling you before. So the Venango Trail is a historic trail used by the Native Americans and various groups in the 1700s, 1800s. I don't know how far back it goes, but it's right around where today's Interstate 79 or US Route 19 runs in Pennsylvania. That's pretty much what I know. I think see a lot of signs in the area for George Washington's 1753, and I believe that was along the Venango Trail. So George Washington came north in 1753. I think that was the French and Indian War, and made it all the way up to Fort Lebouef in Erie County. For the most part, George Washington spent his time in Virginia, as far as I can tell. But that was like a major, I don't even know, it must have taken a year or more back then. I mean, on horse and buggy or however they must have come up. Some kind of like a park bench, yeah. So I will say what I can when I can. If I just run out of stuff, I'll still keep filming because I just want to show you the area. The goal is to actually try to find all of these places, or as many of these places as I can. First trying to do Allegheny County because that's where I live, and then picking up an occasional similar sort of tract of preservation lot or whatever you want to call it in surrounding counties, different areas where I happen to be. No Glade Run is another similar type of thing that's up in Butler County, not far from here. I'd like to check that out at some point. They have a decent sized lake, 52 acres I guess, and they want to promote a lot of kayaking and recreational use. I'm curious if I can fix it. Okay, so I'm using a Turbo Droid 9S camera to film. If anyone tells you it's a great camera, don't believe them, they're lying. You got really no zoom on here. If you try to zoom at all, it's totally pixelated. I'm actually using the 1440p, which is a lower setting because the full 4K resolution is like super wide and flat, and really doesn't give you enough angle to get anything in the picture, especially when I'm doing these outdoor type things. The fact that the phone is it's not tactile sort of takes away from the experience, because you gotta kind of look at it. You gotta push the button. It runs 10 minutes and then it stops. Yeah, I like being outside and I like filming things, but yeah, I also like not being too distracted by technology, and this thing is a total distraction. Also with a camera, you could feel the little wheels or the buttons, and you get good with the camera. You don't really need to look at it. You can manipulate it without looking at it and make it work, and there's no way of doing that on a phone. I mean, I guess maybe if you activated the voice response, whatever, it would work, but a little interesting. So they made this trail with a nice little underground drainage. That's kind of nice. It won't wash away. Yeah, I'll probably go all over the place when I talk because I'm just scatterbrained like that. Hopefully you'll get some little nuggets of interesting something. So what I did now is I set this on a pro mode with a 1/125 of a second exposure, because if you just go with the auto, which you probably saw just before this, the light is all over the place. Like if the camera looks up or if it looks down, it's just constantly compensating. Stuff is always going dark and light. It's pretty awful. Now if the light changes considerably, I can go in and have to look at the phone and do all this distracting stuff, and I can change the setting to take in more or less light. So that's what that is. I do intend to get an actual camera, probably another GoPro or something at some point, but I've just been so totally broke that like literally this place is maybe 10 miles from my house, and for the next month or two it's the furthest I can really justify going, with the exception of work, which is 46 miles one way, which I just abhor. I mean, I don't like it for a number of reasons. It's too much time in the car. I'm a really active person. It's time I could be exercising. The fact that it's an office job only makes it all the worse. And the fact that this time of the year you leave in the dark and come home in the dark. But some sort of a sustainability. Well, there's a sustainability, but before we get to that, there's a financial aspect that almost all of my income goes to my car. Repairing my car, paying the car insurance, paying the car payments, paying the late fees on the car insurance and the car payments because they're so high, paying the insurance deductibles, unfortunately. I recently had some bad luck. So you got that, and then just sort of in an ethical, sustainability way, as a person that cares about the environment, I'm just disgusted that my environmental footprint is enormous and that I have to emit so much fossil fuels. I mean, I do have like a small car. It gets about 28 miles a gallon, but still, I'm killing 5 gallons of gas a day just to get to work. I don't feel good about that, so I'm hoping that I, in the next few months can change things to move closer to where I work, and or eventually find a work that's closer to wherever I happen to be. But I think if I move, I can get pretty close. Ideally, I'd like to be able to walk or bike to work. I mean, I'm still the sort of person I probably couldn't ever do without a car, but it'd be nice to keep it parked except on the weekends or when you gotta go to the store or something. None of my videos are scripted or pre-planned. You won't see a lot of talking head stuff from me. I just try to get outdoors, experience places, and particularly new places that I haven't been to, and just sort of show what I see and say what I know and see where it goes. Okay, you've got your archetypical McMansion up there. I'll change this so you can see it better. There's the McMansion. I mean, the only thing that could be, if it's not a mansion, is maybe a clubhouse or a multi-residence unit of some kind. I don't know, maybe there's 10 units in there, but it looks like a mansion. If you got the money, go for it. Just please don't put up your mansions and block everyone from trails and different things. And it's probably not so bad here. I'm thinking of some places up north by the Clarion River and certain places that are very controversial where access has been blocked quite a bit for recreational users and people that want to hike, and the people are very militant about it, and it's private property and don't you go there, and boy, they'll be sure to talk with you if they see you go there. So this is going to run out before I get to the end, because unfortunately I forgot to check the battery. Probably blew it on the walk to get to the start of this. But I hope you enjoy the part that I got here. Know that this trail is continuing on, and when it's off, it's off. Happy trails. It's about 33 degrees or 34 degrees, just kind of hovering above freezing. It's been kind of a disappointing start to winter. I don't know. It's not outside of the range of possibilities, but it'd be nice to have some snow. I'm ready for snow. I don't like the time of year. It's usually November and most of December where it's just kind of drab. At least the sun's out today, though. We've had a lot of cloudy days and a lot of rainy days and unbelievable amounts of rainfall this year. I think we're close to 170 or 200% of the normal rainfall for the year. It's just all out of proportion. We're supposed to get like 35 inches a year, and places around here have had 65, 70 inches. It's not all at once, though, so there hasn't really been any like horrific flooding as far as I know that would make the national news. A lot of little flooding and just saturated ground, and if you look at the hydrographs for all the creeks and streams in the region, they're pretty much all pinned out at the maximum spring levels all year. There was no dip, so that's a lot of extra water, and boy, I wish there was a way to help out the poor people out west, I guess, that are always talking about not having enough, because there's too much water here. Okay, camera effectively has 0 battery. Got it to come back to life. There's another trail that